Hello and welcome to Game Soup with Chloe and Kayla. This is a game design podcast where we throw ideas in a pot and see what's cooking. I'm Chloe and I'm joined as always. No, I once again do this. I'm
not
Kayla.
Chloe.
I'm not Chloe. I'm really not. I'm Kayla and I'm joined as always by Chloe Montgomery. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I can't think of any words that I would say to do an impression of you. I'm sorry.
Probably something like ultimately or basically.
Performative.
I add that was a good one. I add adjectives. No, I do I don't mean adjectives, I mean adverbs even, to so many sentences. And someone when I was in uni did once say semi-affectionately, just like, you do talk like an essay.
That's so true, actually.
I had a rough day yesterday and we cancelled our initial record because I ended up while I was out having an autistic meltdown just from some stuff that was very stressful and I didn't go into it. But then the thing that was very annoying for me is having the meltdown triggered a sort of shorter pain flare. Like I think it lasted all of yesterday, but I'm mostly more like out of it today. But this really annoyed me because I'm like, the autism's supposed to be on my side. Like, what do you do in autism? Like, new kid on the block, fibro comes out and you're suddenly, like, turning against me like this?
It's like when a kid gets a new younger sibling and they want all the attention back, so they act out.
I'm just like, why are you colluding with fibromyalgia? But also, actually, this comes out this Friday, right? Which is Friday the 3rd or 4th or 5th or something?
The 3rd.
3rd, that makes sense. So there's some stuff that is out now, even at time of recording, and there's some stuff that will be going on by the time. I did a playbook for W.H. Arthur's Molotov College, which got added to the game recently. It's the Star, who's like a sort of booster gold kind of like celebrity superhero type. I had a lot of fun working on that. I flat out just do enjoy writing like Belonging Outside Belonging playbooks, but also thought I had some fun stuff there. Like so many of your weak moves are either like giving into the worst impulses of being a celebrity superhero, or alternatively doing things that you can't actually make benefit you as a celebrity, but are good things otherwise as a hero. So that's why they're in the weak moves category.
Yeah, no, I've written something for Molotov College myself.
College. Yeah, you did the Death playbook, right?
I did the Death, who is a shapeshifter.
Your classic area.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I think we've done an episode explicitly about how I write shapeshifters for everything I play. So
yeah, because we once suggested it would be a fun little zine you could do or something where it is just a series of shapeshifter playbooks or classes for different things.
Yeah.
But that's literally already an episode. So yeah, the Star's out, so you could go play Molotov College and you could, play my playbook with Chloe's as well as all the other ones already in that game. That came together very quickly. I ended up being able to write it very quickly, I guess, because of it being a space I'm familiar with before. But then also, what has launched now is A Fistful of Stars on Backakit, which is a book I'm writing for Stations as part of Orbital Blues Month. It's a series of adventures set on an interstellar train line, as well as like different jobs and passages and stuff. It's fun. It's fun. Like, it's a bit of fun.
Just a bit of fun, innit?
It's I'm playing in the Western space, but I'm also like thinking about like what does a sort of train represent, and it's kind of, it's in many ways the sort of bigger scope backstory thing is it's kind of a corporation making a player ending the sort of like space Western era and trying to move into a further future, because it's, you know, representing progress, or like progress in inverted commas, heavy scare quotes, is what the train often represents in the Western. So translating that into a sci-fi setting, explores similar themes, but also a lot of the adventures are kind of just like fun. You know, Westerns are ultimately like mostly B movies, and it's kind of hitting that kind of spirit of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm still in the middle of like writing that, but that is now out and you can back it. And I believe the more people who back it, the more I will get paid.
Oh, well, everyone who listens, you have a moral prerogative to go give Kayla your money.
And then otherwise I'm also doing work on MechRitter at the moment, but I have nothing to plug there. Oh, third and fourth plug. I have loads of plugs up top.
Damn, but my get third you an extension cable.
My third one is that I don't know when, but Laurie has now released full send to backers of the campaign, and I think the itch release will be coming soon. It might be out by the time this episode goes out, but I don't actually know his plans. But just like, yeah, so if you're a backer or someone who wants to look out for that when it does go up on itch first, I did the cards for that, which was really fun. And then I also did the layout design for the example of play, which Laurie did as like this, where they're selective blocks of color, which is very fun. And also it's a really cool game. I definitely think if it is out now, you should take advantage of that. And then the fourth and final plug. I had a sort of busy week, I guess, as I am confirmed to be at Dragon Meet 2, El Hijra to Dragon Meet Call to Adventure on the 18th. So if you're in London, please come down. I sent the Gallant and the Virtuous to a print run soon, so that might be out in time for it, which is exciting.
Cross your fingers.
Yeah. But now my plugs are over. You had an idea we wanted to do. Do you want to explain where this idea came from?
So I've noticed in the past that a few of my games can be initialized to be sort of turfy red flag buzzwords. Like GC is Goblin Country, but it's also gender critical. TA is Tournament Arc, but also trans activist. So I'm like, what other game names can we make and then workshop the game for that is in that space, like T4T or what is
do you,
it?
Do you want to do T for T so people so you could get rid of the
yeah?
It's like no, it happens in multiple directions.
Yeah, want the positive one, but it's like, oh, what is it, like TMA or whatever? And
yeah, I was trying to think of any of mine. I rarely use acronyms for any of my games. The only one I can think of is the setting book Old Gods and Young Guns, which I do often just refer to as OGYG. But everything else, I feel, usually when I... TDL is what I would shorten, but most other things I might just use a single word. Like, how to embrace a swamp creature, I always just call swamp creature. I'll often shorthand refer to, like, damned or ballad or something.
Yeah, it's like when we're at conventions, it's always, oh, can you get me a box of goblins, or can you get me a box of GC or whatever? It just depends on whatever we're feeling at the minute.
Yeah. Or sometimes like a cute... Do you call like Tournament Arc just Tawny?
No, that's always TA or Tournament Arc.
Ah. I feel like shorten it to like, if I was asking something like, okay, can you pass me a Tawny so I can sell to this person or whatever?
No.
But yeah, none of my acronyms are fun. I sometimes call Ritual Magic for Besties RM4B. Which, yeah, I guess if you're doing T4T, this is a thing, because they don't always need to be, like, obvious.
Yeah. I think having the big 4 in the middle kind of gives it away, so I'm like, what other things could we be? It's like,
Well, maybe you have to play a long game with this and write 3 games that just begin with a T first, like, you know...
and then it's edition 4, :
with
T,
a subtitle.
Subtitle T, yeah.
Yeah. So T4T would be... It would be like... this would be after T and T2 and T3 You'd then have T4. So this would be, I don't know, Terminator 4, Tetanus.
I'm trying to think, like, can we do a world where we just skip 3 games and go straight to the 4th installment? And it's like, yeah, we've done the first 4 versions.
You're a trans woman. Do you like the Mountain Goats?
I've never properly listened to them. I'm sorry.
Well, I would say, like, sometimes there are a lot of songs have, like, a sort of 2 or a number on them. Like, a song that I like off their wrestling album, Heel Turn 2, is just that Heel Turn 1 is not a song that's out publicly. It sometimes can imply, like, a version of a project you worked on but maybe didn't release. So, like...
Yeah.
What unreleased projects do you have that if you reworked, you might just dub them like, oh, okay, this is...
It's like we have that tactics game that we kicked around for like a year to 2 years. And like did playtests and everything, but I could never figure out the leveling up system. So we called that Lifelink Tactics, but if it was like Tactics for something...
Yeah, like how many versions of that do you think there have been in the dev process?
Oh, we could easily say it's 4, yeah.
You know, Tactics 1, Tactics... So this is finally the one coming out, Tactics 4. What's the subtitle here?
It's like Tactics 4 Tabletop is probably what I'd go for, but it's kind of boring. It needs a sort of...
That's yeah, a very boring name, unfortunately. Do you want to bounce around other acronyms? Because the 4 is a hard one. You've started with one of the hard ones.
Yeah. Like
do you want to go to MTF?
MTF.
Everyone loves and uses for themselves all the time.
Well, see, I keep seeing on TikTok people like first time mom. I didn't know it was taken as an acronym. I'm sorry, guys. Like,
yeah, it's actually FTM's very good. I suggested MTF because I was like, maybe you don't want to be doing FTM, but
well, I'm thinking like. FTM, first thing that comes to mind is like Faster Than Might, and it's about like space battles.
Yeah, any kind of Faster Than or yeah, anything with you could do first time monster as a little solo journaling game.
That's a Kayla game. I can see that.
Yeah, maybe.
So MTF then, okay.
We can work on FTM. I assumed you might just want the trans woman one more.
No, I mean, MTF, I'm thinking, make that fast, and it's about working in a kitchen. Or missiles, torpedoes, frigates, it's all exclamation marks.
M could be my, which is, I think, an interesting... Because we don't necessarily... I think it's interesting when things use a first-person pronoun in the plural. That's why I like it in I'm with the damned. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But my time failing. That sounds like a biography of someone with low self-esteem.
Yeah, that's a comedian's second autobiography. I'm thinking like...
I said that looking at me.
My terrible fortune, and it's about someone cursed with bad luck.
Yeah. Or it's about being a genie.
Oh.
Or maybe it's a solo game about being a genie and you just are rolling these lists. It's a single-page solo journaling game.
Yeah.
Where you are, anytime you want to play it, you roll on tables of 3 wishes, as well as like a table for like what the latest person who's Alicia are. And like depending on the wishes, you decide how you want to grant them or what ways you want to like twist them over to fuck this person over. If it's like, oh no, this guy seems like a dog, and they've wished for their girlfriend to never be able to leave them. How do I fuck this guy on this?
Yeah.
Versus sometimes someone's just like, if you get someone who's like, actually nicer, but then it's like, ooh, there's a lot of loopholes here, but I'm going to play this one fair.
Yeah, a lot of wiggle room there.
That's why I'm like, it's a one-page thing. You get the wishes, you get an indication of who the character is, who is wishing from you, and then, yeah, you just are writing out, like, what you do, as well as maybe your thoughts or feelings on it. I feel if you wanted this to not be a one-page game, the rules are still one page, and you are just including journaling paper in it, and a calendar.
It's just 50 pages of blank paper.
Yeah, on a calendar or so. You could, like, I don't know, maybe you could jazz stuff up more memorably. I don't think that's that much of a rip-off, because ultimately, notebooks are 50 pages of blank paper and people buy them.
Well, I have another twist. It's like, what's their name? Jack Harrison, I want to say, where they do Artifact and Book of Bolts, where you play as one thing over a massive time scale. You play as the genie and you keep going back into your lamp.
Yeah.
And like,
well, that's what I was thinking. You were the genie.
Yeah, you play as the genie, yeah. But like, you have these massive time skips and you find these random people as you come out. Yeah, it's like we frame it like that. It's
yeah,
like,
you
what
can
is
definitely...
the world around you? How do you change the world in your brief stints outside your
That's why I'm
lamp?
like, add a calendar. As the calendars, the empty sheets are also calendar stuff. And it's just like, okay, yep, you... Next
feel
sheet
like...
is this error.
Oh, I was going to say, I feel like if I'm a player and I see lots of blank pages, I need to be the genie in every single one of those, rather than having like 20 pages where I skip and I'm not found because I'm on the ocean bed or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think you skip them. I think it's maybe just a linear order.
Yeah, you explicitly say, right, now it's the 15th century, and then you later get found on the 18th, then the 19th, then we skip to the 21st or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's a double page spread where the first half of the page is what year it is, any kind of specific historical details that might be interesting to a genie, or written in ways where it's like, fuck, this is really alienating. Maybe you have different tables for each one, so that's why it's like double page spread, where it's like, oh yeah, here's the tables for wishes from this era.
Yeah, it's like a pick list for in this era.
Yeah, and then the other half of the spread is always just blank space for your journaling. And it's one of those things where you're half going along it as a book and just reading it linearly.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, My Terrible Fortune. MTF.
We did it.
What other acronyms would you be interested in? CIS is not an acronym, but it could be fun to have a game that's title was an acronym for CIS.
I could see that, yeah. It's like computer integrated system.
Yeah, there's a security firm around here whose name is just like CIS Security, I guess private security. I assume they'll get the gig policing bathrooms.
That's too on the nose. I'm sorry, Vita would go for that.
I know, right? And I feel like CIS was a acronym in the Star Wars prequels, but I don't know what for. But like, what fun game title could you have? You seem very stuck on this one.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
It doesn't make for good radio. I'm sorry. Creating independent souls, and you play as God and his angels. Creating.
I'm gonna go through the random word generator.
Okay.
Because, like, I'm just looking at some words we get. Coach. Maybe let's lock in words as we go. I feel like coach is a good first word. Now let's see what we can get from I. Investment, infrastructure, both
inquiry.
Start. Bad. Incredible.
Coach,
incredible.
Service.
Service is bad.
Okay.
I thought we could keep restating. Coach, incredible. Sting, shy, still, slant. Strike. Coach, incredible, strike.
I think there's a colon in there after coach, but...
Yeah, I think maybe it's Coach, incredible, strike. Or...
Okay, yeah. And you are superheroes on a world tour. And you drive around in your shitty little bus.
Or, have you ever seen the film Sky High?
I have.
Actually, a better word than... For S, I'm now going with Siege. So Coach, incredible, Siege. You kind of play out a Sky High thing, but you are instead the teachers.
Yeah. You are the teachers trying to protect your X-Men children.
Yeah, or maybe, like, I don't know. I feel perhaps this is why I'm, like, maybe not going in an X-Men direction, but thinking more about Sky High. And this is more if I chose to write this game, where I'd be like, I think it would maybe be the flaws in an education system.
Yeah.
And it would be about sort of like, I guess your comfort level in working in a system that's maybe not necessarily serving pupils as well. But if you leave, then I guess it's like, well, then there's no one here to be standing up to them or whatever. Could be sort of about like, maybe there's actually, this is also a thing related to X-Men. Have you ever seen that Key and Peele sketch Clothos?
No. God, you're really pulling.
It's one where like
it's today.
Yeah, it's one where they're showing like the public school or whatever. I can't remember which, because the terms public and private school. Well, actually, public school would logically imply a non-fees paying one, but that's not how it's used here. We're the weird one there. But like a public magic school as a counterpart to Hogwarts, which is ultra private school coded, is the joke of that sketch. But also I feel like, yeah, maybe that's the thing. Maybe Coach Incredible Siege, you're someone at the school for superpowered teams that is specifically the non-selective state school.
You weren't accepted.
And there is a private school in your area that is funded by some like ex-hero who's also just kind of a shit. Like, they're maybe not full, like, I don't think they're full evil Superman, Homelander-esque or whatever, but they're just a dick.
Yeah, it's like Guy Gardner.
Yeah, they're a dick, and also maybe, like, just a little... I think they're, like, ultimately, like, probably quite privileged, but not... sorry, I mashed up two words there. They're quite prejudiced, but not in the more obvious way. It's just like, yeah, you are like the system as a guy.
Yeah.
So
I think it's sort of your sort of public school teachers who are probably superpowered, trying to teach your superpowered teens how to, you know, use their powers for good, and also what the Pythagorean theorem is.
Yeah. I don't necessarily know how you'd approach this as a system.
No, I think it's my brain is saying B.O.B. And so I think your different playbooks are like what subject you teach. So it's like, oh, I'm the history teacher, so maybe I have time travel powers. Maybe I have whatever else.
Yeah, I feel there's also a thing of then setting elements are probably like year groups or classes or stuff. Like, it's just like, I'm going to pick up the year 7 setting element. They are going to try and transmute a year 8 into a into a tornado or whatever, or something like that's an aspect. Or I feel like maybe you do something kind of more specific with tokens. Like, maybe tokens are partly being gained from what you're teaching the kids and how successfully you're doing that.
Yeah. And so it's like people at the table are playing a kid as well as a teacher at any given time.
Yeah, but I feel there's maybe... I feel like the kids are played at a remove, in a way. Not at a remove, but there's this aspect of like, yeah, you don't necessarily see these kids' private lives or inner thoughts in a way you are going to for the teaching staff. Unless it's like, for whatever reason, you're deciding to do a plot point about like how a child's personal life is massively affecting them. But like, then that's different, and it's still like your vantage point characters are, I believe, the teaching staff. Yeah. I feel there's an interesting thing, because if I wrote this game, I've said before to people more socially, but like maybe not on this podcast. Whereas like, because I was a teacher for about 4 years and it didn't work, and I said I felt like I ran a 4-year experiment on whether it was possible to be an autistic trans woman in the British education system, and I found the prognosis was, nah, not really. And I feel like I'd maybe approach this game like Psycho Dungeon with the belief of like, it probably has to end with you quitting. You can't win. And then I'm like, that's bleak. It's less bleak in Psycho Dungeon because you're quitting for yourself.
You're quitting for your own good. No, it's just because the kids have burned you out and the system's burned you out. Yeah.
I'd blame the system, not the kids. Wow. I ultimately never blamed the kids, but yeah, I'm just like, I wonder if there would be this, if I'd end up being too much of a hater to fully write that game or whatever. Or maybe not. Who knows? Maybe I'd uncover something I lost. Though, to be fair, I got out at the right fucking time, I'll say that.
It's like right
now. No, I got out. I started in COVID, babes.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I meant I got out before the latest law change about
Oh, well.
the Aldous Charter. So please, let's segue off Coach Incredible Siege to... We're mainly done, but I do feel we should end on a lighter note. Give us something lighter.
I mean, the only thing my brain is providing is like TFTG, which seems more like a porn term than anything else. So thank you for listening to Game Soup. Go buy Kayla's stuff.
Bye.